here with the Junkyard Dog. All right, JYD. Well, let me give me your real name so they can follow you. Erron Peterson Jr., right? Second round knockout over Ashton Sykes this past Saturday. How you feeling about the performance?
First, everybody calls me Jay, so yes, my real name is Erron Peterson. Everybody calls me Jay. On Instagram, JYD_world. So if you see me, you can just call me Jay. But how do I feel is your question?
Yes.
I feel great. Realistically speaking, just another day in the office. We don't get too high, we don't get too low. I do want to apologize to whatever camera I said it to. So, short story on why I said what I said after the fight into that camera. My opponent and his brother, I never said nothing. I never said nothing to them back ever at all, the entire camp. They talked a whole lot of junk, man. They talked a whole lot of shit. Follow my old lady on Instagram, troll her page, troll my page.
Oh, that's too
Oh,
far.
I'm gonna knock you out. Da, 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 da. They never said nothing disrespectful to my old lady. They just,
Yeah, but that's just crossing the line.
But that's why after the fight, it wasn't really my opponent. It was his brother. Now my opponent, he just followed me, and that's it there. And he said a couple things, but that was it. His brother is the one who took it there. So that's why when I looked in the camera after the fight, I told him, pick your fucking brother up. But that's not my character typically. But the moment got to me because I'm just like, I was already going to hurt you because I got to fight you. But now you making me want to do something to you because of the fact that y'all talk the way y'all talk. So, you know, I don't usually get like that, but yeah, you know it happened. But I feel great.
How you feeling about the performance as a whole?
As a whole, I feel like it was a good performance. I know that the guy, he was 6-7, but he was tough. He never been dropped before. He was stopped, but he was stopped on his feet twice. I'm sorry, something's in my eye. He was stopped twice, but he was on his feet. He was on his feet. He never touched the canvas before. He was tough. He usually gives people problems and everything, so people thought that this was going to be a tough fight for me. And respectfully to my opponent, when I watched film on him once, and when I watched the film, the first thing I said was, he really doesn't know enough. And I don't say that arrogantly or in a boastful way. I just like, oh, he doesn't know enough. And when I got in the ring, I noticed from the way he was moving and the thing that he was doing, I'm like, there's a difference between what you're doing and what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is good, but what you're doing is not what you think it is. So I was able to, break down his mistakes immediately because I knew what they were beforehand. But I think it was a good performance because I did make a few mistakes myself. I made like about 2 or 3 mistakes in the first round alone, and I made another about 2 or 3 in the last round, which was the second round. I made about another 2 or 3 mistakes there. And to be honest with you, they are mistakes that I'm not allowed to make in the gym. So I don't know why I made them in the fight. I guess shit happens in boxing, but I don't make those mistakes in the gym because if I make those mistakes against Julian or Karan or even Boots when I work with Boots or any of the other world class fighters I make, that's punishment. I get punished for making those mistakes. So that just lets me know that I got to do more work. So it was a good performance. It wasn't nothing to write home about, in my opinion. It was a good performance, but I made too many mistakes.
Jay, I understand you're going to be your own worst critic, but fuck all that, Jay. I got it. That was the sharpest I've ever seen you look. Most defensively responsible.
I appreciate it.
The combination that set up the knockout, beautiful. Doubled up on the uppercut, low high, and then you caught him out the back door. Now, was that a shot that, is that a combination that you were working on?
Yes.
Or just developed?
That was a combination that we worked on. Shout out Coach Kyron Davis. So Kyron is really good at that. He'll set up shots and he'll move your hand. Julian does the same thing as well. Julian pulls a hand. Kai does it too. So when I threw the shot coming out the back door, when he turned, I followed him out with the reach, with the feather jab. And once he put his hand up, I pulled it and turned and took the shot. So Julian and Kyron are big proponents of things like that, of manipulating the hands and the angles. So I used that and I learned that from them. Me and Breadman also worked on that shot. I believe I got it on film. I actually might release it in the back. The whole time, Bread just kept saying to me, don't load it, don't load it, don't load it. Literally, that's all you hear him say on the pads. Don't load it, don't load it. Because we were throwing that shot in the back the whole time. We were setting that up the whole time in the back because we knew the stoppage was going to come by the left hand. So we set that up the entire time. So Breadman, first and foremost, because we worked on it, and then the experience with Julian and Kyron was the reason why I was able to put it together.
Let's talk about the guard manipulation.
Yes.
That set up the left hand. You pulled it down with the jab. Now, that's not something that I saw you doing 2-3 fights ago. What brought that on?
Well, one, usually when I'm in the inside is when you see my best guard manipulation. And I do attribute that solely to Roberto Duran. Roberto Duran was an absolute creature with hand and guard manipulations in the inside. So before I even got with Breadman and my team, I always studied Roberto Duran. He's actually one of my favorite fighters in history. His inside game was disgusting. So me already having that knowledge and doing it on the inside where I love to be rough and rugged, I know that I also can box. So that aspect came out, like I said, from Kyron and Julian, and I just took it from them. And I just said, you know what? It's time for me to implement the things that I know. So that's kind of where that came from, if that answers the question.
What's next, Jay? What can we expect you back?
Whatever. October 12th? 13th? October 13th, inshallah, I will be back. That's as to what's next. Who's next? That's up to Breadman and my father. Even on my social media, people are starting to tag people and stuff. You hear it here first. I got 8 fights. I'm not calling nobody name. I don't believe in clout chasing and none of that. I've done nothing in the sport of boxing. Calling it what it is. People get too excited with themselves too soon. I got 8 fights. What have I done? Who am I? I'm not calling nobody name. Whoever my team puts in front of me is who I fight. That's who I fight. That's my opponent. I don't care if his record is 1,000,000 or 2 in the trillion. I don't care. Whoever they put in front of me, that's who I fight. That's what's next. What's next is whatever Breadman and my dad says.